The ocean, once a vast cradle of life and wonder, now finds itself on the edge of a transformation few have dared to imagine. Our blue planet seas, which cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface, are revealing signs of deep distress. Could this endless, life-giving expanse be turning into a realm of shadow and silence? Beneath the surface lies a reality that's eerie in its quietness. Massive stretches of coral reefs, the rainforests of the sea, are bleaching white, their vibrant colors fading into ghostly paleness. These reefs, home to a quarter of all marine species, are crumbling under the weight of rising temperatures and creeping acidification, their delicate balance shattered. The question that claws at our minds is both simple and terrifying. What happens when oceans die? What forms of life, if any, will cling to existence in this upheaval? This opening glimpse into a dying sea sets the stage for a journey from the known to the unknown, hinting that as some life vanishes, others may emerge in forms stranger than we dare dream. The first, and perhaps most visible sign of ocean distress is coral bleaching. This occurs when corals, under stress from heat and changes in water chemistry, expel the tiny algae that live symbiotically within their tissues. These algae aren't just roommates. They provide vital nutrients through photosynthesis, giving corals their color and life force. Without them, corals turn ghost white, weakened and vulnerable, a haunting image of ecological collapse. Since the late 20th century, unprecedented warming of ocean waters, accelerated by climate change, has triggered repeated bleaching events, with more than 80% of global reefs affected in recent years. Coupled with rising ocean acidity that erodes the coral's calcium carbonate skeletons, these forces create a deadly cocktail. Once thriving underwater cities become skeletons, vulnerable to erosion and more prone to disease. The coral's slow death resonates beyond the reef itself, threatening fish, invertebrates, and even human communities relying on these ecosystems for food and protection. This gradual unraveling feels like a tragedy scripted in slow motion, a harbinger of constraints that the ocean as a whole will soon face. Yet, the ocean's troubles are deeper and more complex than the bleaching spectacle alone. Acidification, a consequence of excess carbon dioxide dissolving into seawater, is altering the very chemistry of the oceans in ways that may be irreversible. This shift reduces the availability of carbonate ions, the crucial building blocks many marine organisms need to form shells and skeletons. Coral reefs encounter this as a relentless slow erosion, but myriad other creatures, from tiny plankton to mighty shellfish, also struggle to survive. Acidification impacts growth rates, reproductive success, and the ability to form protective structures. It's a creeping threat that challenges any species tied to calcium carbonate, throwing entire food webs into disarray. Scientists warn that this chemical assault has now crossed planetary boundaries once thought safe, raising urgent questions about the resilience of marine life. Will some species adapt, or will vast ecosystems collapse into barren underwater deserts? As we ponder these questions, the ocean's future seems less certain, more mysterious, and laden with a bittersweet tension between life and loss. In this unfolding story of environmental decline, the rhythms of nature seem at once fragile and defiant. Even as reefs bleach and calcify more slowly, signs of life endure. Shrimp dart among coral skeletons, fish navigate skeletal ruins, and microbial communities shift to fill empty niches. These pockets of survival suggest life's tenacity and hint at hidden depths where mystery still reigns. Could these survivors be the seeds of future ecosystems that will look nothing like those we cherish today? How will evolution respond to pressures that rewrite the rules of living? There is a haunting beauty in this resilience, a reminder that life's will to persist might produce strange, terrifying, and wondrous results. Still, the sight of coral ghosts and silent reefs casts a shadow over hope, blending scientific fact with a surreal atmosphere, as though underwater graveyards whisper secrets we are just beginning to hear. The human imprint deepens the haunting narrative. Overfishing, pollution, and habitat destruction aggravate the coral crisis, turning fragile reefs into ghost towns faster than healing can occur. The interconnected nature of ocean ecosystems means we are witnesses and actors in this story. We depend on the ocean's bounty, yet we imperil it through our choices and emissions. Each heat wave that suffocates coral, each pollution plume that chokes underwater life, tells a chapter in a collective tragedy. But the choices humanity makes now might either hasten extinction or foster resilience. Innovative conservation efforts, such as protecting reefs from local threats, cultivating heat-resistant coral strains, and establishing marine protected areas, provide small but crucial glimmers of hope. These attempts to buy time against the inexorable march of climate change underscore the ocean's precarious balance. It asks us, can we learn to coexist with a world that's changing faster than we ever imagined? Emerging from this tragedy is the eerie notion that some forms of life might not only survive but thrive in future oceans drastically altered by heat and chemistry. What will these survivors look like? Will they be monstrous creatures adapted to heat, darkness, or toxic waters? The ocean's extreme environments, hydrothermal vents, boiling mud pools, and acidic methane seeps, already host bizarre organisms unlike anything on land. These life forms live on the edge of extremes, indifferent to conditions that spell death for most species. They offer a glimpse of what might come, life that bends ancient biology into new, alien forms capable of enduring a hostile ocean. The very idea evokes a chilling mix of awe and fear, like glimpsing monsters whispered about in old sea myths but grounded in hard science. It challenges our perception of nature as beautiful and benign and suggests a future ocean whose life is stranger and more terrifying than we know. As the tale of the dying sea unfolds, it calls on us to rethink our relationship with the ocean and the planet. What stories will future oceans tell if left to their dark fate? Will they be tombs of lost biodiversity or cradles of new evolutionary marvels born from crisis? The ocean is both a victim and a witness to human impact, and its fate is intricately tied to the choices we make today. This beginning act of the video invites viewers to feel the weight of loss but also the spark of curiosity about life's endurance and transformation. Beneath the surface of death and decay, life's mysteries pulse with unexpected vitality, hinting that the future holds both horror and wonder. The ocean, vast and unknowable, is already rewriting its story in real time, and we stand at its shore, watching the tides shift. So where do we go from here? The future ocean is not just a place. It's a question mark cast across the horizon. Will life retreat into shadowed niches and hide beneath chemical storms? Or will creatures emerge with adaptations so extreme they redefine what it means to live? Will the ocean itself become a new kind of wilderness, dark, alien, and wild beyond recognition? These are questions science strives to answer, but also ones that stir the imagination and awaken deep primal fears. The ocean's crisis is not only a scientific challenge but a profound call to wonder and humility, urging us to listen to the silent warnings emitted by the dying reefs and the shifting currents. As the tides rise and fall, they carry echoes of life past, present, and future, whispers that might guide us toward understanding or pull us further into uncertainty. Beneath the crushing weight of ocean depths where sunlight dares not venture, there lies a world that seems more alien than any science fiction tale could conjure. Welcome to the realm of hydrothermal vents, undersea geysers that spew scalding, mineral-rich water into the freezing abyss. These vents carve living oases from barren rock and darkness, where creatures thrive not on sunlight, but on sulfur and chemicals from the Earth's molten core. The story of these vents is a tale of survival against unimaginable odds, a hint at the kinds of life forms that could endure the future ocean's extreme conditions. What strange beings might evolve here, thriving on poisons deadly to us? Could the descendants of these vent dwellers be the last survivors in a warming, acidifying world? In this deep, shadowy theater, life writes its own script, strange, defiant, and fiercely alive. Hydrothermal vents form along the seams of tectonic plates, where the ocean floor is fractured and incandescent magma stirs beneath. Cold seawater plunges down cracks, heats up to over 400 degrees Celsius, then blasts back into the ocean laced with minerals and toxic chemicals. This near-boiling water, rich in hydrogen sulfide, creates towering chimneys known as black smokers, funneling chemical energy into the dark. Despite what seems like an inhospitable cocktail of heat, poison, and pressure, vibrant ecosystems flourish. Towering tube worms cluster around vents in vast colonies, their bright red plumes feeding on symbiotic bacteria living within their tubes. Strange mussels and shrimp scuttle over chimneys, forming complex communities entirely dependent on this chemosynthetic life. Noise is replaced by silence and the occasional plumes of bubbles, but within this silence, a strange rhythm of life pulses. At these vents, the base of the food web abandons photosynthesis for chemosynthesis, microbes that convert poisonous chemicals into energy, forming mats of bacteria that feed entire colonies. Imagine entire forests of tube worms standing like alien sentinels, nourished entirely without a glimpse of sunlight. This phenomenon appends everything we know about the conditions required for life and hints at what future ocean dwellers may become. These ecosystems are not relics, but living laboratories of adaptation. They teach us that life, stripped to its essence, can harness the planet's fiery underbelly to exist. So, when the ocean heats and acidifies beyond tolerance elsewhere, it asks, could vent-like conditions become the refuge for evolution's next wave? Would future life forms depend on chemical energy sources more than sunlight, forever altering the ocean's biography? A breathtaking discovery off Papua New Guinea reveals an even stranger twist: hydrothermal vents and methane seeps so close that they form a hybrid ecosystem. Where boiling water meets cold methane gas bubbling from sediment breakdown, a bizarre chemical landscape emerges, supporting extraordinary biodiversity. Dense colonies of mussels and tube worms cling to the interface between heat and cold, surrounded by shrimp and other creatures thriving on complex nutrients. This fusion of fiery vent chemistry and methane seepage creates a diversity hotspot that defies expectations. It offers a glimpse of how future ocean ecosystems might merge extreme chemical gradients, hosting life forms with unimaginable biochemical tricks. Could such hybrid environments become more common as ocean chemistry changes, creating refuges for species in an otherwise hostile world? These creatures, living in worlds of fire and poison, hold secrets about evolution's deepest resourcefulness. Pressure at these depths is immense, enough to flatten metal, yet vent life endures. Their bodies have evolved remarkable adaptations like heat-resistant enzymes and mineralized tissues, allowing them to survive in blistering, toxic water. Tube worms, for instance, have no mouths or stomachs. They rely entirely on their internal bacterial partners. This intimate symbiosis blurs the lines between individual and ecosystem, illustrating a future where life is less about discrete organisms and more about cooperative survival strategies. The lurking mystery here is, how far can these partnerships evolve? Could future ocean life incorporate inorganic materials, forming biomineral composites to withstand hostile environments? Imagining such creatures is like stepping into a realm where biology and geology fuse, life morphs into new morphologies, and survival becomes a masterpiece of biochemical engineering. Yet, this strange world also shadows a nightmare. These vents, often seen as windows to early life on Earth, could hold clues to the ocean's future under extreme stress. As rising temperatures and acidification alter surface waters, more regions might become oxygen-starved or toxic, like hydrothermal zones, favoring species with extremophile traits. This forces us to confront a chilling possibility. The future ocean may harbor life that is alien, resistant, and possibly hostile. Creatures that survive not by beauty or balance, but by chemical warfare and biochemical deception. Could this future ocean be a place where soundless battles rage over chemical energy, where glowing, segmented horrors lurk near vents, capturing prey in the dark? These questions provoke a deep mix of awe and dread, reminding us that the ocean's future might be stranger and darker than we imagine. Scientists continue to explore these vents, uncovering species unknown to science and communities teeming with life invisible from above. Every expedition reveals new relationships, new adaptations, some so bizarre they challenge our understanding of life itself. These ecosystems are fragile, threatened by deep-sea mining and human disruption, activities that could erase entire vent fields before we fully understand them. Protecting these biological treasures is vital, not only for biodiversity but for clues they hold about life's potential future. Could unlocking the secrets of vent life help us develop bio-inspired technologies or understand life's resilience against climate upheaval? These questions urge us to treat these deep, fiery habitats with reverence and caution. In them, both hope and warning intertwine, echoing the ocean's ancient voice. What does the existence of hydrothermal vents teach us about extreme survivors? It shows life's remarkable ability to adapt and find energy sources in the most unforgiving places. It hints that the ocean's future inhabitants may not resemble any fish or coral we know today, but rather bizarre forms that exploit chemistry and heat rather than sunlight. This perspective expands our understanding from the familiar to the extraordinary. Could microbial mats on a vent someday evolve into massive colonies of complex creatures inexplicably alien and wondrous? As the ocean changes rapidly, hydrothermal vents offer a blueprint for survival in hellish conditions. The lingering question is whether these adaptations are enough to sustain life's diversity in the ocean yet to come, or if they are but a fleeting outpost before widespread collapse. So, as we peer into the darkness of the ocean's future, hydrothermal vents remind us that life's story is far from over. The harsh chemistry and boiling waters are not just places of death but cradles of incredible life, teetering on the edge of known biology. It raises a tantalizing thought. If humanity fades, if familiar seas become deserts, these extremophiles might continue, perhaps evolving into unseen kingdoms beneath the waves. Our fear and fascination with the unknown guide us to keep exploring, understanding, and protecting these strange worlds. Ultimately, hydrothermal vents are a testament to life's stubborn brilliance and a mysterious beacon signaling what might survive in the future ocean, life that clings, adapts, and transforms in the face of relentless change. Welcome to the ocean's twilight zone, a vast, shadowy middle world stretching from about 200 to 1,000 meters below the surface where sunlight barely penetrates, creating a realm that is at once dim and strangely alive. It is here that life grapples with almost perpetual dusk, developing dazzling tricks of survival that both captivate and unsettle. This zone, sometimes called the mesopelagic, is home to countless creatures that thrive in the borderline between light and dark, forming one of the largest habitats on Earth. What adaptations allow these creatures to survive when they live in an environment where the sun's energy is barely felt? More hauntingly, how does this twilight landscape hint at what life might look like in the future ocean, when sunlight may retreat even further beneath diminished waters? As we descend into this realm, glowworms of the sea flicker to life, inviting us deeper into a mysterious underwater theater of lights and shadows. This zone is a world of bioluminescence, where creatures produce their own eerie light to hunt, hide, and communicate. Imagine millions of tiny organisms, from plankton to squid, lighting up the darkness with flashes, glows, and pulses. A shimmering symphony that both dazzles and deceives. Many fish here, like the famous lanternfish, bear photophores, special light organs that create a chemical glow. This light penetrates the gloom, revealing silhouettes or cloaking creatures in shadow, depending on the flickering dance of glow and darkness. The question arises: why create light when the ocean is nearly black? The answers are as varied as the creatures themselves. Some use it to attract prey, others to confuse predators, and some to signal mates in an otherwise silent, colossal void. It's a stunning reminder that life not only survives in darkness but masters it in ways that feel almost supernatural. Among the masters of this dim world are fish like the hatchetfish and stoplight loose-jaw dragonfish, who have evolved incredible adaptations to the twilight's eerie glow. Hatchetfish are equipped with upward-facing eyes to spot tiny shadows against the faint light above, while the dragonfish can emit red flashes of light invisible to most other deep-sea creatures. Being red in this zone means invisibility because the red wavelength is absorbed quickly in water, rendering the fish nearly invisible except to those few who have evolved to see it. Some creatures even boast ultra-black skin that absorbs almost all light, like the pelican eel, making them ghosts in the ocean darkness. These adaptations seem like something out of a nightmare. The deep ocean here is less a peaceful twilight and more a stage for a biochemical arms race where light itself becomes a weapon, shield, and language. The Twilight Zone also hosts strange creatures with translucent or opaque bodies that vanish into the surrounding shadows. Amphipods with glass-like exteriors wander this half-lit world, while jellyfish pulse with delicate glows, their pulsating lights hinting at silent communications or warnings. Other animals, such as the vampire squid, utilize bioluminescent mucus clouds to confuse predators, leaving glowing trails in the blackness as they escape. Some squid species can turn off their lights completely, disappearing into the ocean's ink, an active form of camouflage in a place where being seen is often a death sentence. This cloak-and-dagger existence suggests a realm where survival depends not on strength alone, but on cunning and the artful manipulation of light and shadow. The eerie glow and fleeting shadows here evoke a subtle horror, a ceaseless dance of predator and prey in an eternal uneasy dusk. Life in the Twilight Zone is also intensely migratory, with many species partaking in the world's largest daily migration by biomass. Each night, billions of fish, squid, and krill ascend to the upper layers to feed under the protective cover of darkness, only to retreat to the blackened depths by dawn. This vertical migration acts like a vast conveyor belt, linking surface ecosystems with the deep ocean and playing a crucial role in transporting carbon from the atmosphere to the seafloor. What does this mean for our planet's future? The Twilight Zone not only shelters mysterious creatures but also acts as a vital regulator of global climate, influencing carbon cycles in ways scientists are only beginning to understand. Yet this delicate, ceaseless movement is threatened by warming waters and human activities like deep-sea fishing, pollution, and mining. Protecting this dimly lit world is critical, not just for the strange creatures that call it home, but for humanity's own survival. Some of the most unsettling denizens of the Twilight Zone are the bioluminescent predators, like the anglerfish, whose glowing lure dangles from its head to attract unsuspecting prey. With teeth sharper than their own size would suggest, these ghostly hunters can consume creatures larger than themselves by expanding their jaws and stomachs. Others, like the stoplight loosejaw dragonfish, carry light-producing organs that allow them to spot and stalk prey in complete darkness. Such adaptations evoke a deep sense of alienness, creatures perfectly evolved for a slowly dying ocean where darkness and chemical changes reshape life itself. Could future oceans spawn more of these dazzling but deadly hunters? The deeper we explore, the more the ocean reveals its capacity for strange and horrifying innovation, adapting life into forms beyond our imagination and perhaps beyond our comfort. Bioluminescent ecosystems are mysteries wrapped in darkness, their actors performing in a silent, light-driven play that has persisted for millions of years. Scientists studying these zones employ submarine robots and specialized light sensors to decode a language of flashes, glows, and pulses, a language that may represent communication, mating signals, or warnings. Each discovery uncovers new behaviors and species, continuously expanding our understanding of life in the dim ocean. Yet, many secrets remain tightly sealed in the shadows, frustrating and fascinating researchers alike. The subtle horror here lies in our ignorance. The vast majority of Twilight Zone creatures are unknown to science, their lives a cryptic puzzle hidden by the dark. What other breathtaking adaptations await discovery? How many more secrets does this Twilight realm keep? And what do they mean for the future of ocean life? The Twilight Zone teaches a powerful lesson about adaptation and resilience. Life here clings not to abundance, but to ingenuity, turning darkness into a landscape of light and shadow where survival is a constant challenge. As climate change alters ocean chemistry and light penetration, this zone may expand or shift, pushing species into new evolutionary frontiers. The emerging creatures may be stranger, even more biochemically complex, wielding light as weapon and shield in ways yet unimagined. It is both beautiful and haunting to contemplate how these twilight denizens survive where life seems impossible. The ocean's middle realm holds the blueprint for future survival, a shadow world lit by mystery and resilience, poised to endure the ocean's most extreme tests. Ultimately, the ocean's Twilight Zone is a realm of paradox. Darkness and light, beauty and horror, survival and mystery intertwined in an endless dance beneath the waves. It challenges our understanding of life's limits while sparking wonder at nature's inventiveness. The future ocean's life forms may draw heavily from this dim world's playbook, evolving to live in harsher, darker, and more chemically complex seas. As we peer into this twilight, we glimpse creatures shaped as much by shadows as by water and chemistry, signaling an ocean transformed by change. What stories will they tell? What mysteries will they hold? And how will their flickering lights illuminate the ocean's darkest future? Deep beneath the ocean's surface, in a realm where sunlight becomes a distant memory, a quiet and invisible transformation is underway: ocean acidification. This process, driven by the relentless absorption of carbon dioxide from our atmosphere, is steadily lowering the pH of seawater, turning Earth's vast marine expanses more acidic. Imagine the ocean as a giant sponge, soaking up excess CO2 that humanity releases, but at a terrible cost. This altered chemistry spells daring challenges for the creatures whose survival depends on delicate balances forged over millions of years. How does this hidden shift in water's very nature threaten the complex web of life beneath the waves? What dark ripples will it send through ecosystems both large and microscopic? The story of ocean acidification is not just a tale of environmental change. It's a story of life struggling desperately to hold its place in an increasingly hostile world. The most dramatic victims of acidification are those who build hard shells and skeletons made of calcium carbonate, the architects of underwater fortresses. Corals, shellfish like oysters and mussels, tiny plankton species, crabs, and sea urchins all rely on stable carbonate ions to create their protective structures. As acidity rises, the ions necessary for shell formation become scarce, making it harder for these organisms to grow and maintain their armor. Think of this effect like osteoporosis in the sea. Shells thin, crumble, or fail to form altogether. Coral reefs, already devastated by warming waters, face a double blow as acidification slowly dissolves their limestone skeletons. These reefs, vibrant cities teeming with life, risk turning into ghostly graveyards where the echoes of biodiversity fade. Such changes in foundation species could ripple upward, dismantling food webs and unsettling ocean ecosystems profoundly. But acidification's impact extends beyond structural damage. It invades the very physiology of marine life. Creatures living in this changing chemistry face increased bodily stress, using precious energy to regulate their internal fluids against the rising acidity. Some studies show that energy spent maintaining basic health reduces the resources available for growth, reproduction, and defense. This means that even species with shells might survive in acidified water, but at the cost of becoming weaker, smaller, and less resilient. Fish larvae, for example, exposed to increased acidity lose their ability to smell predators or find suitable habitats, drastically lowering their chances of survival. In this hidden chemical war, it is not just the mighty or the large who suffer, but the vulnerable earliest stages of life, larvae and juveniles that are the future of their species. Ocean acidification also upends the microscopic foundations of marine food chains. Plankton. Many species of plankton build tiny shells out of calcium carbonate, forming a crucial link in the ocean's biological pump. As these microscopic architects falter under acidic conditions, their reduced populations could disrupt the feeding patterns of fish, whales, and seabirds. This means that the collapse of tiny creatures could cascade into crises for the largest ocean animals and, ultimately, for humans relying on seafood for sustenance. The ocean's invisible caretakers become casualties, threatening to unravel ecosystems from the bottom up. This precarious balance raises eerie questions about how much disruption the ocean's interconnected life can endure before tipping points are crossed. As ecosystems recalibrate in response to acidification, some species may find new opportunities, while others fade away. Research shows that seagrasses and some photosynthetic algae may benefit from higher CO2 levels, growing more rapidly in this altered chemistry. Yet, the winners may be the hardiest, often less complex organisms, potentially leading to simpler, less diverse ecosystems. This reorganization could mean that future oceans lack the rich variety of species we know today, replaced by a more homogenized marine world. The eerie consequence could be a silent ocean where diversity is lost, and strange new forms dominate, adapted to extremes but less familiar or beneficial to us. This potential future reminds us that resilience is not always synonymous with abundance or complexity. The effects of ocean acidification are already visible in numerous marine habitats around the globe. The Caribbean's coral reefs have shrunk dramatically, affecting fish populations and the protective storms barriers they provide for coastal regions. In cold water environments like the North Atlantic and Antarctic waters, acidification acts more rapidly because colder water absorbs more CO2. Shelled creatures there face dissolving exoskeletons and declining populations, threatening entire food webs, including iconic species like krill, which underpin polar ecosystems. Even regions where humans depend on shellfish industries, such as oyster farms along the Pacific Northwest, are experiencing die-offs tied directly to acidic waters. The growing list of affected zones paints a haunting picture of a shifting ocean where nothing remains untouched by the creeping tide of acidity. Scientists warn that the rapid pace of ocean acidification gives marine life little time for natural adaptation, an evolutionary race against a changing chemistry that may be unprecedented. Unlike past ocean changes that occurred over millennia, today's acidification happens within decades, compressing the challenge for survival. This accelerated timeline may result in loss of species unable to cope or relocate. Some organisms seem capable of limited adaptation, but for many, the physiological barriers are too steep. This raises urgent questions. How will ecosystems balance when foundational species vanish? What new communities might arise in acidified waters? And will they sustain the ocean's intricate food webs? The mystery of adaptation to such stress hovers like a shadow over the ocean's future, uncertain and foreboding. Amidst this gloom, there are faint glimmers of hope as researchers investigate ways to mitigate acidification impacts through conservation and restoration efforts. Protecting healthy seagrass beds, actively restoring damaged reefs with resilient coral strains, and reducing local pollution can all help bolster marine ecosystems against acidification's worst effects. Scientists are also exploring biotechnological interventions that might aid shell formation or enhance resilience in vulnerable species. Yet, these efforts face monumental challenges given the global scale of CO2 emissions driving acidification. The question lingers: can humanity reduce its footprint in time to preserve the ocean's richness? Or will acidification become a defining force reshaping life beneath waves in ways we dread? The tension between action and consequence adds a human dimension to this story of environmental tipping points. Ocean acidification is a silent reshaper of life in the seas, a haunting chemical alteration that threatens to unravel the ocean's complex tapestry. It forces us to confront the fragility of ecosystems woven over countless millennia and the vulnerability of countless species, large and small. How will life respond in the long term? Will the ocean become a place where only the toughest, most adaptable creatures survive? Or is there a future where this acidifying sea gives rise to new, unforeseen life forms that emerge from the chemical chaos? The gentle yet relentless transformation beneath the surface is a chilling reminder that our planet's largest habitat is rapidly changing, and with it, the story of life itself is being rewritten. At the deepest reaches of the oceans, in the abyssal plains where light never penetrates and pressures are crushing, life exists in one of Earth's most alien realms. The environment is harsh beyond imagination. Temperatures hover just above freezing, and the immense pressure would crush any unadapted creature. Yet, in this blank expanse of crushing darkness and bone-deep cold, giants drift silently. Colossal filter feeders, strange translucent predators, and life forms so bizarre they challenge our very concept of what's alive. How did life evolve to flourish in such a place? And what secrets do these depths hold about the future ocean? Here, in the abyssal paradox, life dances on the knife's edge between survival and oblivion, and the story is one of astonishing, eerie adaptation to extreme conditions humanity can barely fathom. Among the abyssal plains, colossal forms like gigantic sea cucumbers and basket stars stretch across the ocean floor in slow, majestic movements. These creatures consume whatever organic matter sinks from the surface, leftover corpses, detritus, and microscopic debris, forming the cleanup crew of the deep. Yet, some predators here have evolved extraordinary means of hunting in paralysis-inducing silence. relying on vibration and specialized sonar-like organs rather than sight. The thick abyssal mud muffles all but the most subtle sounds, and creatures respond with exceptional sensory adaptation. It is a world where eyes transform, disappear, or glow faintly, and sound becomes the guiding sense. This sensory shift hints at the ocean's broader evolutionary responses to environmental extremes, offering a glimpse into future ocean life forms that harness senses beyond human understanding. The most mysterious abyssal creatures take survival even further, forming symbiotic relationships that defy simple biology. Some filter feeders combine mineralized tissues with organic material, forming natural bioarmor against crushing pressure and predators. Imagine a cephalopod with a skeleton partially mineralized like crystal, or a worm armored with iron-rich plates fused to its body. This fusion of biology and geology creates living shells stronger than any single material alone. Could this be the future of ocean life, that biology melds with mineral structures, evolving composite forms that transcend current biological limits? This possibility both intrigues and unsettles, blurring the lines between the living and the mineral, the organic and the inorganic. In the abyss, some organisms have developed ultra-sensitive pressure sensors and bioelectrical organs, enabling them to navigate and hunt in complete darkness. Without light as a guide, they rely on faint chemical traces, vibrations, and electromagnetic fields generated by other creatures or Earth itself. Magnetic sensing may become crucial for migration and orientation in this endless dark. Could future evolution deepen these senses, enabling complex navigation in pitch-black, geologically restless oceans? The deep ocean's mysterious sensory world presents an eerie parallel to human fears of the dark. Creatures attuned to signals we cannot perceive, living in a realm where silence is eternal and detection is a matter of survival. The abyssal realm also challenges life with extreme nutritional scarcity. Food falls like precious treasure from above, often in unpredictable pulses. This places incredible evolutionary pressure on energy efficiency and adaptability. Many deep-sea dwellers possess slow metabolisms and grow at glacial speeds, conserving every calorie. Some scientists speculate future ocean survivors will share these traits. Organisms capable of enduring long periods of starvation, awakening only for brief, frenzied hunts. This paints a picture of an ocean transformed into a place of waiting and sudden violence, a dreamscape of extremes where patience itself becomes a survival strategy. Microbial life in the abyss plays a vital but mostly invisible role. Chemosynthetic bacteria thrive near hydrothermal vents and cold seeps, harnessing chemical energy to fuel entire ecosystems. These microbes may represent some of life's earliest forms, persisting unchanged in extreme conditions for millions of years. As surface ecosystems crumble, these microbial communities could become the ocean's foundation again, giving rise to strange, simplified food webs dominated by chemical energy flow rather than photosynthesis. This fundamental shift may lead to oceans populated by life forms alien in their biochemistry and form, challenging our very definition of marine biodiversity. Yet the darkest depths also harbor spectral predators that evoke maritime nightmares. Creatures like the gigantic amphipods that scavenge carcasses with appendages resembling grasping claws or ghostly eels with bidirectional teeth. In the abyss, evolution's whimsy turns odd shapes into terrifying apparitions, blending utility with grotesque beauty. Future oceans may harbor such monstrous forms, creatures perfectly adapted to hunt without sight, move soundlessly, and consume in the eternal night. Their presence reminds us that the ocean's future is not just about survival. It's about thriving in forms that will evoke awe and terror in equal measure. Despite their silence and invisibility, abyssal life forms play crucial roles in global ecosystems. They participate in the carbon cycle by breaking down organic matter and locking carbon in deep sediments, a process helping regulate planetary climate. In this way, even the darkest and coldest corners of the ocean link intimately to surface processes and the fate of Earth's atmosphere. The abyssal environment serves as a somber reminder that even extremes contain profound interconnectedness. The ocean's future is not isolated to surface turmoil, but extends to deep, unseen realms continuously shaping the planet's health. What awaits humanity in the ocean's abyssal depths is a profound mystery, life forms wrapping biology in mineral armor, sensing worlds beyond our perception, thriving on chemical energy flows, and resembling creatures from nightmares or dreams. This abyssal paradox challenges humanity's understanding of adaptation, pushing the boundaries of life itself. As the surface ocean changes, its darkest corners may become the last refuges of life's most extreme forms. The profound silence of the abyss whispers a question into the deep. When all else fades, what strange new dominions of life will arise from the crushing darkness? Imagine a future where humanity has long vanished, continents shaped into new forms, and the ocean's vast depths have become Earth's final wilderness. Below layers of ice and thick sediments, strange calls echo through the dark, vibrations and pulses that suggest a form of intelligence born in utter blackness. This deep future ocean, sealed off from the sun and transformed by geological time, could host life vastly different from anything alive today. Descendants of deep-sea cephalopods may have evolved collective minds, hive intelligences communicating through bioluminescence or pressure waves, sharing thoughts across vast distances. What would such minds perceive in a world without light? How might their existence redefine intelligence itself? This act glimpses the radical possibilities of oceanic life evolving beyond individual organisms into vast networks, fostering new kinds of consciousness. Life in this far-future ocean might challenge everything we consider familiar or safe. Microbial colonies could amalgamate into massive, coral-like living cities, a collective brain slowly pulsing with awareness. These microbial metropolises would process chemical signals, responding to environmental changes as a single organism. If intelligence emerges from such collective forms, it could be vastly alien, neither fish nor beast, but something biochemical and sprawling. This raises haunting questions. Would such intelligences recognize us as ancestors or relics? Could the ocean's future inhabitants perceive history as echoes long forgotten beneath the sediment layers? The mystery deepens as we realize the ocean may not just be a cradle of life, but a vault of secrets guarding forgotten epochs. The evolution of such intelligence in the deep relies on energy sources far removed from photosynthesis. The ocean floor, marked by slow geological shifts and hydrothermal vents, provides chemical energy in a world starved of sunlight. Energetic bursts from volcanic activity and chemical rain trickle nutrients into these alien cities, enabling slow but enduring life cycles. Could future ocean intelligence harness Earth's magnetic fields or chemical gradients as means of communication or power? Might bioelectric or bioluminescent signals form webs of interaction as complex as human neural networks? Exploring these possibilities pulls us into both wonder and unease, as we realize the ocean's deep future may echo with life forms so unlike us they defy recognition. Even cephalopods, known today for their intelligence and adaptability, might follow unimaginable evolutionary paths in this sealed oceanic world. With no surface daylight to regulate biological cycles, their descendants could adapt to life as fluid-shifting specters of the deep, hunting with senses attuned to pressure pulses and bioluminescent flickers. A hive mind could coordinate their movements and actions like a single entity, sharing memories and strategies. Imagine vast packs of these creatures communicating silently across kilometers, evolving culture without words or faces. This vision is as thrilling as it is disquieting, posing profound questions about the nature of consciousness when severed from human experience. Microbial life, often overlooked, may dominate this dark future in complexity and scale. Communities of bacteria and archaea could form sprawling networks beneath the sediment, exchanging chemical messages and evolving collective intelligence. Unlike anything we know, these communities may survive through cooperation in extreme conditions, high pressure, low temperature, and chemical flux, forming living labyrinths beneath the seabed. The potential for life's persistence through such microbial gardens challenges our usual views of what it means to be alive or intelligent. In this quiet abyss, life's tenacity might reach a zenith unknown to surface dwellers, silently weaving an intelligence in the dark. Yet, amid possibilities of vast underwater consciousness, the abyss presents eerie silence and isolation. These future ocean intelligences could dwell in immense solitude, their sprawling networks unseen and inscrutable to human senses. Will they achieve awareness of themselves as individuals or dissolve into the collective? Will their communication be slow and patient, or urgent and sharp, shaped by the slow rhythms of the deep sea? This profound loneliness and scale bring a subtle horror, intelligence untethered from human context, adrift in a vast world of shadow and chemical twilight. It leaves us to wonder if intelligence confined to such realms perceives existence differently, perhaps without concepts we hold dear. The transition from individual organisms to networked intelligences represents a radical evolutionary leap, possibly triggered by environmental pressures and isolation over millions of years. As the ocean becomes a sealed world, genetic innovation could give way to bioelectrical or chemical signaling, transforming living forms into semi-synthetic entities, blurring lines between biology and technology. This fusion could spawn organisms with crystalline components or magnetic organs, navigating by Earth's invisible fields. What ethical, philosophical, and existential dilemmas might arise in contemplating such futures? Are these entities the next step in life's evolution, or something wholly other? The ocean's deep future remains a silent riddle, echoing with answers we have yet to imagine. Ultimately, the deep future ocean challenges our understanding of life, intelligence, and survival. Beneath kilometers of ice and ancient sediment, life evolves in forms both beautiful and terrifying, adapting not just to survive, but to communicate and understand. As humanity watches from the surface, the ocean's darkest depths whisper of futures where consciousness flourishes in the absence of light, and life's story is rewritten in pulses and chemical songs. This glimpse into the abyss invites us to embrace mystery, respect life's limits and possibilities, and wonder at the unknown kingdoms that may someday rise from Earth's eternal, hidden seas.